Jesus! Whoa. Holy! Hi guys, Alex Peak Performance Reviews. Welcome to another vlog and welcome to another car review. Today I am in an absolute crazy beast of a car here. I'm in the Lotus Electre R, 900 horsepower, 166k, and look at that pearlescent kind of paint. It's absolutely stunning. But yes, right next to one of those as well, and a Mirror V6 manual as well. I'm going to be driving that as well, so watch out for my video. But yes, this is a pure electric car with 900 horsepower, ridiculous amount of torque. So like, yeah, just absolute craziness. Carbon ceramic brakes as well, huge front and rear, and yeah, lots and lots of tech. But anyway, I'm going to go into that on the drive. And if you've got any questions, as always, hit us up in the comment section. And yeah, I'm going to go and enjoy the beast that is a 900 horsepower car on damp, crazy roads. What could go wrong, eh? Anyway, watch on and enjoy. So yes, I find myself in a Lotus finally after so many years of driving a, or not driving a Lotus, should I say. I'm finally back out in a Lotus. Now, the question on most people's lips will be, can Lotus manufacture and make a huge or fairly big SUV handle and do the Lotus thing, which is, yeah, handle really well. I've got it in a normal drive mode. I'm just going to test it out on this roundabout. I mean, there's great grip. All-wheel drive, 900 horsepower. Almost you'd think it'd be too much horsepower for the roads. The grip levels are absolutely superb, and the actual pitch and roll of the suspension is amazing. That actually definitely feels straight away, even on a very normal mode. And it's got this fancy, amazing air suspension, which is, you know, adjusts to the different modes. It's got these huge carbon ceramic brakes on the front, 10-pot calipers, but it's also got carbon ceramics on the rear as well. So carbon ceramics all round, big front and rear, especially on the front. And it is a really nice place to be. It's 166k. I know it's really expensive, but look, it is a super premium high-end SUV. So what do you get for the money? Well, it has everything you can think of. TVs in the rear, lovely big screen in the front, super high crystal clear, like HD screen in the front. These beautiful light bars in the front that you can adjust and make whatever color you want. I do love these super clear side wing mirrors as well, which are digital, and because you've got the carbon fiber little winglets on there that are getting camera footage on the outside. Keeping the aero nice and down. You can still adjust them to how you want, and it will move them, which is incredible. But the interior here, it's got this panoramic roof, which you can basically touch and make go dark, so you can black it out if you want. And the interior is just absolutely amazing. It's got these beautiful stereo speakers that are like a work of art, including the Alcantara steering wheel with carbon fiber on it. Lots of nice little bits of carbon fiber here, there, and everywhere. Aluminium, like I say, real carbon fiber. Beautiful high-end levers you can feel used, and it's just got everything. It's a beautiful place to be. They've really thought about cup hold space, everything like that, from, you know, small Red Bull sized cans to big cans. Absolutely stunning front and rear. Loads of seat space, leg room in the rear, as well as high head space. The boot is gigantic, and the general quality is amazing. I love actually how simple Lotus have made it. Yes, there's a lot of digital modes and things that can be touched and used through the infotainment system and the big screen, which some people would go, oh, I've got to get into that screen to do this, to do that. Well, rest assured, you don't have to just do it on that, because there's a lot of, or a few nice simple buttons, and the most important buttons that you would want that are on your steering wheel as well. And that is things like the drive mode, the regen, which it has 3 different modes on the regen. So you can really let it brake heavily for you, or kind of turn it off completely. And the drive mode's just on the touch of this paddle. You can literally go into the screen here and you can see all of your different modes. It's got an off-road mode, even though it's on P0s. I've been told it is very, very capable in that off-road setting. You know, not obviously as capable as something with, you know, knobbly off-road tyres, but certainly very, very capable. Also has range, which obviously will extend that range. It will turn the systems off or on low modes, low power modes. So you get all of the range out of this motor, this 112 kilowatt hour battery pack, should I say. With that, the range is 280 miles as I talk you through the modes. Tour is a kind of happy go medium setting, which I'm in at the moment now. And then we've got sports mode, which I'm gonna toggle through to now. You can do it just by clicking the drive modes. Sports mode is obviously a little bit quicker mode. You've got an individual one which you can set everything, you know, suspension, etc., the aero, braking settings and preferences to how you want. And track is the 900 horsepower mode. Now, I'm going to put it on sports mode first, and I'm just going to see around these mad roads. First and foremost, actually, I'm very aware I've got carbon ceramic, so let me get some heat into them. Excuse me, Lotus. I just want to have confidence in these brakes. I tell you what, already, both the brakes and the acceleration, it does that thing, I don't know whether you've ever had it, where basically you really get that kind of, your brain hurts almost because of how quick it accelerates. Let me just do it now again, ready? From 20 mile an hour, pull. Jesus! Whoa! Holy! Whoa! That is, it's so powerful. Let's put on the restraint on the seatbelts. I can't even get my words out. This is absolutely mad, this car, but awesome all the same. But yeah, this is absolutely mad. That's just sports mode, so that is going to definitely feel even more wild on track, because I'm told that I think sport gives you something like 750, 800 horsepower. Oh, and it is wet, and you can see that. So I'm going to put it into track because I need to get used to that whole power. If that's squirming round on sport, yes, albeit let me put this out there to kind of everyone so they understand. The surface you'll see from the road is very, very greasy, so it's not the most amazing, perfect conditions for you know, really giving it some beans and testing out the full 900 horsepower. As you can see, I mean, literally that on sport you can feel it squirm. On track, which is the full 900 horsepower, you can literally feel all four wheels spinning. Now, the level of traction control on this is very sophisticated, very clever. Yaw control, stabilization, G-force sensing, brake, individual brake clamping, very clever, very state-of-the-art. And it does look after you. You can feel that. It will squirm, but it will reset itself really, really well and look after you really, really well. Even once it's trying to scramble for traction at about 40 mile an hour and it's still squirming. I've just got a roundabout here. I'm not going to go too fast, but I just want to see if I can exploit the realms of traction just to see how kind of playful it can be without being too, you know, silly. Yes, it's very it lets you. Oh, yep, you can get it sideways. It lets you play. It lets you play. But look, this is 900 horsepower. It's all-wheel drive, but I'm telling you now, that setting is for non-dewy roads. That setting is definitely for non-dewy roads. I wish I could exploit and see what this feels like. I can't get my words out. That is honestly so fast. When it grabs for traction, which it only did a little bit at 40 back on the road, it weren't so dewy. It is so fast. There is so much power and so much torque available straight away that it is going to scramble the tyres. Again, you can make it a lot more safer, but track mode is going to always, well, it turns the traction control off, basically. It doesn't turn it off completely, but it turns it off a lot, basically. But I'm actually going to actually turn it down, which is very un-Alex-like. I'm going to put it on sports, which has got traction control on. And I have to say that feels like probably the setting to have in this weather. But honestly, I was talking about, is it Lotus like? And it absolutely is. I tell you what, you can feel that you're high, but the roll is kept to absolute minimum. And the chassis, especially on sport, I have to say, I would go as far to say, honestly, and that's me being really honest, and if anyone who's followed my channel will know that I have a really powerful high horsepower rear wheel drive car. I also race, and I do a lot of things with mad cars. That setting track is a little bit too much for a dewy, horrible wet road. I would not advise putting it on. It still looks after you well, considering the ridiculous amount of power and torque available, but sport just feels perfect. It feels like perfection. It feels like an absolute amazing, awesome setting. You can put the power down a lot more, but this car just brakes and feels as Jesus Christ. Wow. The acceleration, that's on sport again. It takes your breath away. It literally takes your breath away. It is so fast, but what a machine this is. I honestly, yes, look, it's 166,000 pounds. They have got the S model, which has 600 horsepower, and I have to say, that on its most wild side, and I'd like to test drive that, and I may still drive that. I can imagine that would be really perfect for all conditions and probably plenty powerful enough. But if you had this in the dry, I have to say this would be like a supercar pulverizing mad car. So look, I'm not down talking or saying you shouldn't get the R, because this is absolutely batshit. Now, it's a little bit drier now, so I'm gonna, let me try and nail it. Oh my goodness me. Oh, wow. Traction limiting, and yeah, it does. It seems to still use a tiny bit of traction. I'll have to double check, or whether it's just me, because I was letting off as well, just for my own safety. It was pulling 1.1 G in lateral force from that acceleration in this weather. It just, from low down, it moves round. It is so powerful and so quick, guys. Yeah, it genuinely is a little bit too powerful for these conditions. I'm going to put it back in sports mode and tell you a lot more about this beautiful car. And yes, it is beautiful. It's not everyone's cup of tea. I've heard mixed opinions on it. I think it's a very pretty car inside out. Different colours, in my opinion, complement the exterior better. Not necessarily in this. I think it's stunning, this pearlescent colour. But I think it's a beautiful car inside and out, and especially the interior. The interior is one of the best interiors I've seen on a car ever. I think it's up there with the absolute best. But yeah, this is a more, I don't want to say subtle, because it's still, they've made it still look quite fancy, I think, quite sporty like, if you know what I mean. But just, this is, again, like I say, this is sports mode. Let's push it a little bit more. Look, I'm not pushing it an obscene amount, but that is and I love the fact that actually it's really, you can be very modular on the throttle. So you can, like, EVs can sometimes be a little bit numb underfoot. So unlike a petrol combustion car, I feel like with an EV it's harder and often feels more harder to control that kind of throttle and the car's placement, the traction. This really does it very, very well, and actually probably it has one of the best throttle applications I've felt on a EV car of anything I've ever driven, actually. And I like that. It feels more akin to a fast, fun petrol combustion car. And overall, the car has that general feel. It feels like a Lotus does and should. It has real good, amazing body control and handling prowess. And it's a very dynamic, fun, incredible car. Very, very capable. This sports mode on this setting, in these weather conditions, is absolutely amazing. Let's give this another little try low down. That's better. Yeah, so unlike the track, it's still moving around, and traction control will just dust itself on a little bit, turn itself on and off a little bit, but it's very unimpeding and it doesn't feel that impeding. But wow, it's so quick, guys. Just gonna punch it again. And the brakes are just phenomenal. Yeah, a nice heads-up display, beautiful interior. There's not much not to like on this car, I have to say. And as sports SUVs and luxury sports SUVs go, this is by far the best one I have ever driven, without a question of a doubt. This is absolutely outstanding, and Lotus have nailed it. I weren't sure what this car would be like. I don't know why I doubted Lotus, because Lotus are Lotus. They know how to make a car handle. Why am I so surprised? Maybe because it's big, it's huge, it's, you know, way over, well, near 2.5 ton. And it's big, doesn't feel heavy, but it is heavy, and you feel upright and quite high. And for that reason, you just don't believe it's going to be a great handling car. But it really is. It's an SUV that you can live with, that's stunning, that's beautiful. And if you have a good amount of money to spend on a luxury SUV, and you've got the money for something like this, you absolutely will not, in my opinion, buy yourself a better, fast, fun, uber fast SUV on the road than this Lotus Electre R. What an absolute weapon of a car. The chassis is amazing. The feel and the power is incredible and invigorating. And the range, just after me just absolutely blasting it, has just gone down only 10, 15 miles into the range, which was actually 12 miles. It's lost 12 miles in all of this time I've been talking to you guys. And that's miles. That is amazing, like 5%. It is absolutely amazing. This car is class. Class. Well done, Lotus. You have genuinely nailed an absolutely awesome all-wheel drive SUV car that looks after you when you change the modes into the lower modes. But wow, what a car. Right, let's do a 0 to 60 pull. I'm going to put it on sports mode because this the track mode is just too wild. Right, ready? 1, 2, 3. 60. Holy crap. Now, the 0 to 60, I should mention, is 2.9 seconds. I have just done a 0 to 60 of 2.8 seconds in the damp. I think it has just got too much power for its good as such low down. It's managing it really well, don't get me wrong, it's managing it incredibly well. However, yeah, it's just done a 0 to 60 of 2.8 seconds. Mind blowing. I'd love to try it on track, but it's just too dewy and it's just too wild to do. So I'm going to give it a go one more time in sports mode and see what it does. Right, 1, 2, 3, go. Oh, I had to back out of it. Woo! And that was still a 2.9. One thing I probably should mention as well is the actual feel of the steering as well, the steering input. Now, steering input for an EV, again, is, I'm just going left and right, as you can see, is so sharp. And again, very un-EV-like. It just doesn't feel like it's like an electronically assisted car, which is weird. It's amazing. And that's, again, in sport. I'll put it in track again. I'm not going to nail it in track because I didn't like how crazy it felt. Yeah, it feels probably a little bit even more stiffer, which is amazing. If you look how quickly it reacts as well, it's really nice. And obviously you won't be able to feel it, but I'll tell you now, the weight of the rack and the feel of the steering is beautiful. It's nice and weighty, much like a race car. Very Lotus-like, obviously. And yeah, they've even nailed, you know, how the steering feels. Yeah, they've basically nailed every aspect of anything you'd want in a fast SUV or a car at that, full stop. So again, massive hats off to Lotus. So that is the end of our video and our drive with the amazing Lotus Electre R, 900 horsepower, SUV, EV, all-wheel drive car. What an absolute weapon of a car. Scary, because it's so powerful, and on these horrible dewy roads, it's just been on track mode. Hard to get the power down, but I love that it's wild. I love that if you want it to be like that, you can. I had it proper broadside sideways around a roundabout and controlled it beautifully, if I do say so myself. But it was just great fun. But I think after that, I kind of thought I wouldn't advise people to really take it on this kind of, you know, put it on track setting on this kind of road when it's like all dewy like this, or whether there's rain or what. Not with those kind of tyres, but on sports mode, you still got to be really, really careful. It's still quite wild, but it's just that nice little kind of in between. You then can enjoy it. You can control it on the throttle nicely. It's awesome. Yeah, keep it off track mode in this weather. In the dry, that'll be phenomenal. But the power and torque of that car is unbelievable. And that does make you kind of excited to drive it all the time. Don't get me wrong. But actually, the other thing is, it is a Lotus, and it does what Lotus cars should do. It literally handles amazing. It's probably the best heavy platformed SUV or SUV in general I've ever driven in my life, without a question of doubt. That is the new, in my opinion, until I drive something else, I don't know. And I've driven a lot of fast, very expensive, and of all kind of prices, SUVs. Without a question of doubt, that is the best SUV now I've driven on the market. And it has supercar, hypercar-like performance as well, which is just mind-blowing. Yes, it's £166,000, but look, if you've got that money and you want something with near 1,000 horsepower and that kind of prowess and dynamics, look no further than that car, because that is amazing. I'm going to give it a peak performance reviews rating of 92%. Yes, I love it that much. I think it's amazing. Like I said, best SUV platform I've ever driven. And yeah, I've really, really enjoyed it. If I've missed anything and you can think of anything, hit us up in the comment section, guys. Ask away any questions you've got. And yeah, hope you enjoyed the video. As always, like, share, comment and subscribe. See you again in the next one. Bye for now.